Hello, and welcome to this, the 8th in the series of coronavirus podcasts for the Global Thinkers Forum. I'm Professor Andrew McLeod, and today I would like to talk about defeating the coronavirus with only one eye open. Something has struck me recently about the comparisons between countries in their response to the coronavirus. And one of these things is the fact that the countries that are listed tend to be white and European, with a couple of obvious exceptions. We see the comparisons between the UK, US, Italy, Spain. Occasionally they put in the very well integrated into the global political and economic system, Singapore and South Korea. Of course, China is in there as the founder. And we tend to look at those countries and say, which is the better country? Which are the ones we should follow? People talk a lot about New Zealand and Australia. There are lots of comparisons between Norway and Sweden. But something strikes me. One of the glaring omissions from the comparison list is a large country by global standards. A country of over 90 million people that even shares a border with China. And this country has fewer than 1,000 reported cases and zero, read that again, zero coronavirus deaths. Surely that is a country we should be examining and asking, how did they succeed? How did they do it? And what is this country? It's Vietnam. A little bit more attention has been paid to Taiwan, mainly because of the geopolitics between Taiwan and China. But even then, only a small amount of attention has been paid to Taiwan's success. Did you know that Taiwan locked down its borders to China on the 31st of December last year? So when countries like Australia and the United States trumpet their success in closing their borders to China, they did so significantly after Taiwan did. Now, why is it that when we do the comparisons and we look at countries comparing their success rates to corona, we don't really analyse Taiwan that much, and we certainly don't analyse Vietnam? But we do look to where we're comfortable, Italy, Spain, etc. Now, I'm not going to answer this question, and I'm going to leave you, the listeners, to draw your own conclusions. But let me say something else about international comparisons. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, says it's not easy and not helpful to compare data between countries for all sorts of reasons. I have a particular theory, and the theory goes like this. Boris Johnson, by any international comparison, has horrendous data for the United Kingdom. So of course he's not comparing the United Kingdom to any other country, because there are few, if any, countries where the comparison makes the United Kingdom look good. If the United Kingdom had the death rates of Australia or New Zealand, for example, or Vietnam, do you think he'd be saying that? Or would he be trumpeting the great success of the United Kingdom? Now, whether we see the virus and its response through, let's call it cultural imperialism, with one eye open, but only through the political lens that makes us look good, again, only one eye open, how is it that we are going to successfully beat the virus, but also successfully restructure our economy going forward? And on that note, few people have heard of China's Belt Road Initiative. More and more people are hearing of it, but few given the scale of what it is. It is the world's largest infrastructure investment program trying to rebuild the old Silk Road. And on the old Silk Road, we think Marco Polo was the first European to write about it. But 1400 years before Marco Polo, Emperor Augustus wrote about it. You see, we call the years 400 to 1400 the Dark Ages because we said the world went backwards. We, people in the white Anglo-Saxon European cultural context. But it's simply not true. The rest of the world went forwards. We went backwards. But through our education system and through our cultural imperialism, we find it very hard to accept that other countries and other cultures can do things better than we can. And therefore we see history and we see the world with only one eye open. So whether it is a failure to understand the ancient Silk Road, whether it is a failure to accept that the world went forwards for 1,000 years in science, astronomy and mathematics while we went backwards, or whether it is failing to see the success of some of the developing economies like Vietnam that we're used to looking down on, yet their comparative success in dealing with the coronavirus far exceeds ours, with fewer resources than we have. You've got to ask, how is it that we solve the world's problems when we look at them with only one eye open? I'm Professor Andrew McLeod, and this has been the 8th in the series of coronavirus podcasts for the Global Thinkers Forum. Thank you.